this video, we are going to talk about the entire admission counseling process, which has begun on 11th of December 2023. Right? The exam was conducted on 3rd of December. You know that 10th December we got the results, which included your marks as well as your rank. Now, students have been invited to participate in the admission counseling process by the CLAT consortium. We are going to understand the entire admission counseling process from A to Z, including what are the different fees that you are required to pay, what are different options that you get to exercise during this particular process. Everything we are going to talk in detail, right? In doing that, we are going to almost analyze 10 to 12 situations, and I'm going to tell you in each situation what is the best thing that you should be doing. Right? If you look at the notification released by the CLAT consortium regarding the information of the CLAT counseling process, it is very, very hectic. Right? It's a chaos of words. A lot of words are given in say section 4. They have given that refer to paragraph 7. In paragraph 7 they are referring to something else, and students are confused as to what they should do. So this particular video is to help you to sort out all these details in a very systematic and organized way. So let's get into the video. Right. So what is this process? This process includes three things. First, it starts with the registration for the counseling process. The registration has begun on 11th. It will end on 20. We'll discuss how do you register yourself. Second, the seat allotment. There are 5 rounds of seat allotment. I will be discussing what is seat allotment, and in each round of seat allotment, what is the thing that you should be doing. And the third one being the confirmation. That is, you select an NLU. How do you opt or select or confirm yourself an NLU that has been offered by the consortium is the third aspect. So, let's get started with the documents required. These are the list of the documents. I don't think there is a lot of things there is any detail that you would be required, because everything has been given straightforward. You require class 10th, your class 10th statement of marks, that is your class 10th report card, and then you have CLAT 2024 admit card, then grade 12th result card, and character certificate / conduct certificate, transfer or migration certificate, caste certificate if you are availing any of the caste reservation, PWD or SAP, which is person with disability or specially abled person certificate if you are availing that reservation, domicile certificate if you are availing that particular reservation, and apart from that, if you are availing any other special reservation like a student of award of say Jammu and Kashmir migrant, or award of say ex-serviceman who is a brat, all those people are required to provide that additional piece of paper as well. All these things should be available in PDF copy, a scanned PDF copy with you, because at any time these documents will be required for you to get cross-confirmed by the concerned department when doing this particular process. Right. Let's talk about the fee payment. Now, this entire CLAT counseling process is going to be in such a way that you are required to pay 3 fees. Right. Remember, the sum total of all these 3 fees is equivalent to the NLU fee. For example, you are getting an NLU, say Null Sir. So Null Sir's first year fees is 2.5 lakh. So everything that you're going to pay is going to be split between these 3 categories. Let's understand what is this. Counseling registration fees is a fee of 30,000 rupees for general and 20,000 rupees for others, right, who fall under OBC, SC, ST category, right? And accordingly, they have to pay 20,000 or 30,000, based on which they will be enrolled in the participation of this particular process. That means if you pay the counseling registration fee, you can participate in the process. That means allotment list, you can participate. During participation, if you get an NLU of your choice, you have to pay confirmation fee, which is 20,000 rupees, and then there is university fee. That means the sum total, say, as I've told you, 2,50,000 is Nalsar's fee. So if you have paid say 30,000 and 20,000, already 50,000. So remaining amount you have to pay in the university fee. We'll be discussing as to when and how you have to pay this particular fee. Right? So the first process, as I've told you, is registration for admission counseling. As I've told you, the admission counseling registration has been started, and invitation link has been sent to all eligible candidates. As I have talked in the previous video, almost like 5 to 6 times the vacancies. Say 100 vacancies are there, 600 students will be called nearly for this particular CLAT counseling process. Now, many students got the CLAT counseling invitation. Now the question coming in is, should they be participating in this process? Should they be paying this 30,000/20,000 fee, and should they be getting into this process? The answer is, if you got an invitation, definitely you should enroll yourself, you should participate in the counseling process. The reason is very simple. There is a refund policy which says that if at the end of all the 5 rounds of allotment or the end of this counseling process, if you don't get, right, despite the 5 rounds, if you are unable to get a NLU seat, then the entire amount that you pay will be refunded to you, subject to some conditions that we'll be seeing in the refund section, where I will be talking about refund in detail. So right now the question number 1 is, should you be getting into this process if you have an invitation? The answer is you should be, because there is a refund policy which allows 100% refund of the confirmation fee admission counseling fee, which is 30,000/20,000 depending on general/SC/ST category that you are in, right? Now the time to pay this is from 11th December 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. of December 20th. Remember, the CLAT consortium in the notification itself has mentioned that don't wait for last day, because we have seen this last year also. If you wait for last day, the system gets overburdened, because of which there are high chances that you might end up not paying this fee and getting out of this counseling process. To avoid that, I would suggest student to pay this particular amount, 30,000/20,000, before 10 p.m. 20 December 2023, at least 5 to 6 hours before this particular time, right? Then as I've told you, the amount 30,000 and 20,000, those are the things. Now after you pay this, a first allotment list will be published, subsequent to which second, third, fourth, fifth, like that. We will have multiple rounds in which multiple lists will be published, and you have to check whether your name is there in that list or not, right? Now when your name appears on the list, you have 3 options. Try to understand these 3 options carefully, because this has an direct impact on the refund amount that you can claim, as well as the seat that you can secure, the NLU seat that you can secure, right? So the first option is freeze. Say your name appeared in the first list or second list, and you want that particular NLU itself. Say in the first list you got Nalsar and you want Nalsar as your NLU, right? You want to join Nalsar, right? You don't want any upgrade, or you don't want any kind of further extension. You just want that particular seat in that particular NLU as it has appeared in your first, second, or whatever list it is. Then you have to freeze. Once you freeze it, right, that particular seat will be locked for you. Float is when you are not sure of whether this NLU you should be joining, or in shortcut, float is an option wherein you are saying that for now I am taking this seat, but I would like to get my seat upgraded to a better NLU based on the priority list that I have given during the admission, during the registration process. If you remember, when you were filling the CLAT application, at that time you had set priorities, right? Order of NLU. So if there is a higher NLU, right, and if you want to get into that, but as of now you are willing to get into this university, then you can exercise float option. So float is like, for now you are confirming that you want to get into this NLU, but if there is a scope for upgrade, then you would like to go for upgradation. And the third option you have is exit option. When you exercise exit option, you are directly saying to consortium that you don't want to further participate in any of the rounds, and you are exiting from the entire CLAT counseling process. Remember, once you exit from this process, you cannot re-enter. The only option that is left is wait for the vacant seats after the 5 list and then use those vacant lists. I will be talking about vacant seats in short, right? Okay. So what is confirmation fee? First we have talked about registration fee. The confirmation fee is a fee that you need to pay if you are exercising freeze or float. Remember, if you are exercising freeze and float, you have to pay the confirmation fee, which is 20,000 rupees. Okay, right. Okay, so in every round, say in first round your name appeared, you have used freeze or float as your option, then you have to pay the confirmation fee. For every confirmation fee, there is a stipulated date, which is mentioned in one table which is given at the end of the notification. We will be talking about each round in particular. Say, in first round, the list will be published on December 26, right? And if your name appears in that list, then you can exercise your float or freeze option. If you're doing that, then between 10 a.m. December 26 to 1 p.m. January 2, you have to pay the 20,000 confirmation fee if you're exercising float or freeze. Or else if you're exiting, then the entire amount will be refunded to you. We will be talking about refund. So this is for the first list. After the first list, the second list will come out. Say, in the first list, you opted for float. And in second list, you got that NLU that you were dreaming of. Say, your priority was Bangalore followed by Hyderabad NLU. Now, Nalsar was there in your first list. Now, you applied for float option thinking that it will be upgraded to NLSIU Bangalore, and it did in the second round. Now, you have to change that your float to freeze. But you're not paying anything. Remember, you have to pay the confirmation fees only once. Right? Since you have already paid the confirmation fee in the first round when you exercise float, when you're freezing the subsequent higher NLU in the second round, you don't need to pay anything. Only thing you have to do is you have to change the status from freeze to float to freeze. Right? You are confirming NLSIU Bangalore. Right? Once this has been done in the second list, which will be published on 10 a.m. 8th of January 2024, you have to pay the fee, confirmation fee, if you are freezing or floating for the first time. If you're doing that, then confirmation fee has to be paid. This has to be paid between January 8 to January 12, that is 10 a.m. to 10 p.m, whatever date is mentioned here. Right? The third list will be out on January 22nd, and the time limit to pay the confirmation fee in this regard will be 10 a.m. of January 22nd to 1 p.m. of January 25. This is the short date for all these three lists. Now, remember, the confirmation fee has to be paid only once. So if you have paid in the previous allotment, previous round, then in the subsequent round you have to only exercise your right of freeze and float. You don't need to pay anything. Right? Now, after these 3 rounds of allotment, right, you have to pay the remaining. Say that you got NLSIU Bangalore. Right? You have already paid 30,000 as registration, 20,000 as your confirmation fee. Right? Then you need to pay the remaining university fee. That means after deducting that 30,000 and 20,000, the sum total, you have to pay the remaining fee by May 14 if you have exercised both freeze and float option in any of the first 3 rounds. Remember, any of the first 3 rounds, if you have opted for freeze or float of any of the NLU, then by May 14th, you have to pay the remaining university fee amount. After adjusting, after removing that 30,000 plus 20,000 or 20,000 plus 20,000 for SC/ST candidates. Right? After which, we'll be entering into the 4th round. The 4th round, as it is given, is on May 20. The list will be published. Right? And from 10 a.m. May 20 to 1 p.m. May 23, you have to exercise this right of float or freeze, and you have to pay the confirmation fee. Now, the confirmation fee for first 3 round was 20,000 rupees. But when we come to 4th round, and for the 5th round also this is applicable, the confirmation fee is not 20,000. Rather, the confirmation fee is the entire university fee. Remember, you don't need to pay 20,000. You need to pay what? You need to pay the remaining. Say in first list, you have paid the confirmation fee and you have kept float. When you enter 4th round, to put confirmation, the thing is you have to pay the university fee. Right? Payment of university fee after adjusting, as I have told you, the confirmation fee if paid in the 1st, 2nd and 3rd round. Say your name appeared for the first time in the 4th list and you have to freeze or float, right? There you don't need to pay 20,000. Rather, you need to pay the entire fee of that university NLU that you got. Say in the 4th list, for the first time I got DSNLU. I need to pay the entire DSNLU fee to the NLU, respective NLU, which is DSNLU in this case. Only then it would be said that I have exercised my float or freeze option. Right? Then you get into 4th list. After 4th list, you get into 5th list. It will be published on May 28th. And again, as I have told you, you have to pay the balance university fee. There is no confirmation fee that you need to pay in order to exercise float or freeze option. This is the first 5 rounds, right? Now let's talk about refund policy. The refund policy is very simple. It says that even despite the 5 rounds, if you are unable to get a seat, then the entire amount will be refunded to you. Say you got an NLU and you exercise the float or freeze option, right? Or you exited. In whatever case, if you have done that particular thing, that is exit, before May 23rd, 2024, right? May 23rd, 1 p.m. 2024, then the entire registration fee, remember 30,000 or the 20,000 as the case may be, depending on general or CST, that will be refunded in toto. The complete amount will be refunded provided you have opted for exit option before May 23, 2024, 1 p.m. Say you crossed this time, then an amount of 5,000 will be deducted from your registration fee, and if you have paid 30,000, only 25,000 will be returned to you, and if you have paid 20,000, only 15,000 will be returned to you. This is regarding the registration fee. What about the confirmation fee? If you have exercised float or freeze option before and now you are in the subsequent round you are using exit option, then remember the confirmation fee will not be refunded, right? The 30,000, 20,000 of the registration fee is refunded after using this rule. That is, if before this date, entire amount, after this particular date and time, it is a deduction of 5,000 rupees. But confirmation fee will not be refunded, right? Similarly, if for the first time in the 5th list your name has appeared, in that case, if the student choose to exit, then also the entire amount will be refunded, right? Entire amount of registration will be refunded, right? Now, say you have appeared, you have freezed a seat, and during the counseling process, right, certain documents were verified, and it so turned out that your documents were not up to the mark, or say the required documents were not there with you, or there is some flaw or some kind of inconsistency with the documents required, and the NLU is not accepting you into their particular NLU. In that case, a deduction of 5,000 will be made, and the registration fee after deducting that 5,000 will be refunded to you. So this is the case. Remember, the registration fees is refundable based on that particular calculation, but the confirmation fee is not refundable. Right? Now, after these 5 rounds, the consortium's role come to end. Then what we have left is, there is something known as vacant seats. Say, despite all these rounds, there are certain seats which are not filled in any of the NLU, then the NLU will individually in their website publish the information about the vacant seat, and it will invite students who gave the CLAT exam to enroll or to participate in the vacant seats process. Remember, to participate in vacant seats, you don't need to register yourself for any of the counseling process. It is direct process. Now, you know this, that Abhyaas Lawprep through its website lawprep.in has this dedicated page wherein we update each and every notification released by the respective NLUs, given that these notifications are not released on consortium page but are released on the respective websites of the NLU. We track all those notifications, and we have created this dedicated page where you can watch, or you can get to know about all the vacant seats as it appears even after the 5 rounds, right? For that you need to enter into lawprep.in/2024 vacant seats. Now, there is a good news from Abhyaas Lawprep, that is, we are starting with a new tool or new program called Abhyaas Lawprep Law School Guidance Program. What do we do here? In this particular program, the students, right, the students who were unable to get or who failed to get into an NLU, right, for them we provide a guidance. What is this guidance all about? This guidance is about, Law School Guidance tool makes a calculative decision for you, including the decision to whether you should take a drop, or you should be joining any private law colleges, or whether you should not be joining any private law colleges. All these decisions are made by us, and we also provide further training for you into exams like CLAT, Symbiosis, State Law Set, in state laws, at Abhyaas Lawprep holds a record of having multiple All India rank 1s and 2s. Right? All these exams, including NLAT, apart from that, there are multiple law entrance exams to which we cater students. Right? You know that to make a decision whether to take a drop or not is very calculative decision, and you have to take into consideration many things. Number of years you have already spent on the coaching, the marks you obtained, the marks with which you missed to get into NLU. All these things are carefully calculated by our team, and then we give you a tailor made suggestion or solution as to what you should be doing after this particular thing. With that, we come to end. A particular link will be attached in the description if you want to avail this particular law guidance program by us. Right? With that, we come to end. If you have any doubt regarding any of the particulars that I have talked in this video, I request you to use the comment box and our team will get back to you. Thank you so much.